Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm continuing with a series on my channel talking about the best products from different brands. I've been doing top 10 videos. So far it's been featuring drugstore brands, like just brands I'm super familiar with because I think this is most useful if you really are deeply familiar with the brand. So I've done a handful of different drugstore brands like L'Oreal, Maybelline, Wet n Wild, Rimmel, e.l.f. I think those are the 5 I've done already. And then I thought today I would do Physicians Formula, but at the same time I feel like maybe the brand isn't quite as vast as some of the other brands I've talked about, and it only really made sense to me to come up with a top 5 as opposed to a top 10. Like I have a solid top 5 and I feel really good in that place. And yes, Physicians Formula does have a couple coverage products, but if I don't see those products as standing out in the greater scope of drugstore coverage products, then I'm not going to name them as a top 10 for the brand, you know what I mean? So yeah, for Physicians Formula we've got a top 5. Physicians Formula I think is a really strong brand when it comes to the face color cosmetics. So we're talking bronzers in different formats. We've got a great palette in this video, some lip products and one eye product. So I'll just fill you in on what I've done so far. I've done my base makeup. Today I chose to use my Wet n Wild Niacinamide Skin Tint. It's so good. I really like the medium coverage that turns out. And then I used my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is in light peach. This is in light medium. And then I can't stop using this soft pink powder from Wet n Wild. It's so good with that powder puff. So that's the last thing I've done. We're ready to get into some bronzing steps. I have several different things that can be bronzer here. The first one I'm going to mention is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Bronzing Serum. I think this is a fairly unique product because while there are a lot of brands that have come out with the bronzing drops, you know, kind of copying Drunk Elephant, these are not really all about the glow. Like I think they're a little more pigmented, but still ultra blendable, and you can really just contour on top of your makeup with like the thinnest, most blendable format possible. But this could also be a mix-in, or you could just like blend it in all over your face to start. But as you see me work with it here, you can see it's a liquid texture that does not set too quick. Yes, it does have that butter scent that they put in, not the scent of butter, but the iconic scent of Physicians Formula's butter range, very tropical. So you will smell that in this product, and that may be kind of a drawback for some people. The powders, all these face products, even I've tried a mascara that had that tropical scent in it, and it can be kind of a lot. But look how even the feel of an over application of product, it's not going to set too quick, and it's going to stay ultra easy to blend because it's so thin and liquidy. And it can be liquidy but not break down the coverage products that you've already applied underneath. So to me, this is a pretty special product, and I've really continued to go back and use it quite a bit since purchasing. It hasn't just been like a one and done gimmicky thing. So for a soft contour in a liquidy format, it's just the one shade that it comes in. It says Muru Muru Butter Bronzing Serum. This is really good. I've enjoyed it so much. Now another thing, my number 2 product that I love from Physicians Formula, and I'm not naming these in order of favorites, just chronologically how I might put them on. Not that I would need to double up on bronzer. I'm actually going to end up tripling up on bronzer, but this stick, guys, I mean, you could have guessed this. I've talked about it a lot. The Butter Glow and Go stick from Physicians Formula. The one I have it in is Tan and Berry. Some of you guys have told me you've gotten this in multiple shades and you love it in other options too. But this is just the creamiest, most blendable stick, contour, and blush product in the drugstore. I'm a big fan of user-friendly, but I want the pigment too. And that's what this gives. And I've been using a Sephora 56 for blending. Look how easy this is. Like, it just blends in a jiffy. I wouldn't have needed to have layered on more bronzer, but I knew, you know, this isn't going to be a problem. Just dab right over it. You're getting the pigment you want, but total ease. I'm so familiar with the cream contours in the drugstore, and this is clearly leading the pack. Just press over it. Again, you're not running a risk of something setting too quickly. You can bring it up a little bit if you want to blend it upward, but that is a great sculpting type of shade for me. And you just got to appreciate the complete and total ease. And we've got this blush, and I really do kind of want to try some of the other options that are out there, but this berry color is super pretty. It kind of reminds you of a Merit effect slightly, but more of a pigment payoff. Merit's cream blushes and bronzers are very, very balmy. This, I feel like I get that enjoyable blushy look but all the ease of putting it on that kind of reminds me of that Merit Glide. But such a top-notch product. I think there's one shade available that goes deeper than this, and then a couple of shades that are a little lighter intensity in both the blush and the bronzer. So they kind of both go together in being either lighter or deeper. And then I have to mention this palette because this, I mean, I'm really glad they've kept this around really long-term instead of just dropping it out as a limited edition product and then letting it go, because this is an incredible value, this Butter Dream Team palette. I know Physicians Formula has popped out a few different palettes. This is definitely the best one. It's a face palette, so look. Small packaging. My beef with Physicians Formula, just a regular bronzer from their line, I don't love how thick they make these. Like, they take up a lot of space. They're really not super practical. And like, I like this bronzer. I like the sculpting shade, especially of the Butter Bronzer. But given two different factors, number one, there are several other drugstore bronzers that I can like just as well. But number two, the packaging is kind of bulky. It makes that product slip out of a top spot for me. But if they're willing to give me 6 pans and put it in a super compact fashion here, like you could never store 6 separate pans of Physicians Formula products in as compact and streamlined of a manner as this palette is allowing, okay? So you're getting a traditional butter bronzer, you're getting a matte Minoy version, which is a little deeper, you're getting the saucy mauve blush, a little different from the single if you own that single, but I love this. 2 of the different Butter Believe It formulas, which are kind of like gradient powders. This is so handy to have just a plain powder in here along with the highlight, but that normal just setting powder in this palette is so great to have. So it's a well-balanced palette. It's something I continue to reach for often. It's extremely travel friendly, and it's taking bulky individual products from a brand and putting them into this shape and size and a really good value too. I'm going to check the current price. This might be my single top product from Physicians Formula. You can get this for $15 and change. Amazing deal, especially considering a single. What's a single butter bronzer going to be? A butter bronzer is $13, just over $13. And here you're going to pay $15 for the 6 things. I mean, not a math whiz, but come on. So I'm going to continue on with like a third bronzing step on my face today. I'm going to go into my just traditional standard butter bronzer that's up top here. This palette does give you the smells, so just know that if you're against the tropical scent. And yes, I still got that stamp hanging around from the weekend. I cannot wash it off. I'm just kind of topping off my contour there a bit. But you know what? I feel like maybe the scent isn't quite as strong in this palette as my single butter bronzer is. I didn't need a lot more bronze, so I'm just kind of working with that lighter one, but this one definitely more pigment, very contour friendly. And that's just a little Sephora angled brush that I was using there for that step. I'm going to go into this blush. This is the Butter Blush, which I don't see a lot of the individual butter blushes in store. Maybe where I go, they're just not stocking it as well, but it's a great quality blush. Look at us just topping off our cream. And the lighter pink one underneath is great too. And there was a past video where I actually combined these 2 powders to get a light pink under eye setting powder. Yes. But it's definitely 2 distinctly different blushes in here. This one actually has some sheen to it. It's a little bit richer. This one, especially if you stick in that central part of the gradient, you get a really classic soft pink. Okay, so we got that blush. And just the thought that you have an under eye setting powder in here too. I mean, think of what this is eliminating if you are taking it on vacation. Oh, we got a full moon peeking right in the window right now. Here's the butter highlighter. This, if you're not familiar, this is like a creamy, practically creamy feeling texture. It's almost like a ColourPop Super Shock-ish vibe. Maybe a little more powdery than that, but it's really pigmented. So butter highlighter, get a little bit on the brush. I say a little bit and a little bit. I'm not fully blended yet, but I do that, clean off my brush. By the way, I got a new step tracker. I really love it. I've decided I need to be keeping track of my steps again. And I just got it off of Amazon. Like, Fitbits aren't cheap. And I'm like, I don't need to overcomplicate things. I just want something that's going to tell me my steps. This actually will tell me my steps, my heart rate, the weather, and a few other things. But it was like $30, had good ratings and reviews, and I've been wearing it since Saturday, and it's been really great. And I like the little like rose gold on here and the light band. It's cute. So that's pretty. That's a pretty highlight. It does not leave chunky glittery flakes. You're able to really work it in, fully blendable. Love that. And then if you're wanting to, you know, you can go into that powder and you can just kind of set your look, treat it like it's an hourglass finishing powder, or like I said, go directly to the under eye with that once you've done concealer. If you've layered up 3 bronzers, you know, just tone it down a little bit in that zone with that powder. You know, you be the judge. But this is an elite palette. This is my favorite drugstore face palette. Okay, brows are done, and here's my number 4 product from Physicians Formula. And it's a little under the radar, and it may have gone a little underused by me for some time, but I'm back to it, and it's this guy. This is their Matte Manoy Butter Eyeshadow Palette. This is an all matte palette, and it's very compact. It's very simple. We like gradients. It's very neutral, leaning cool actually, and it works well. This is a good formula, okay? This is really easy to work with on the eyes. I'm going into that one right there with my crease brush, and I'm going to softly get that going in my crease and above. So you might find a few different eyeshadow options just depending on where you shop for Physicians Formula and how much they stock. But these are very like soft formulas. Look how pigmented. I mean, you don't need near that much on your eyes. I'm taking that lightest color and just letting it come up to my brow. But there's a really great just kind of ease with these shadows that I enjoy. Very, very blendable. If there was a need for a beginner eyeshadow moment, this could be it. I deepened ever so slightly with that little muted gray, going into this deep khaki type of color right here. And I'm just going to begin dabbing that on my outer lid. And then I'm feeling that brush hit my crease also. So depth goes to the crease. What even is this shade? It's like a cool brown, but maybe there's like a touch of olive in it, because I feel like I can see just a little bit of olive on my eyes, but nothing anybody would really point to and say green, green, green. But soft, delicate, easy. So you got that going on, and then maybe you go back to your crease brush and we just soften the crease area of that. Add a little more. And then I'm layering up a little more darkness because look what's at the end. It's like a soft black, but so manageable, okay? Not intimidating. Get that in your outer corner. But I'm going like corner with it, okay? Not covering up quite all the space that the last shade used, but still reaching crease with it. When I go through my top 5 or top 10, like I usually have some ideas in mind immediately of the products that would be my top ones, but I do go back through their websites and also what I see currently available on major retailers' websites and just kind of double check that availability, but that may remind me of different things where I'm like, oh yeah. And this is one of those things that's kind of currently being sold, really high quality, but just doesn't get a lot of buzz. I'm just using my Profusion small pointed brush to move that shade around in a really pinpointed way in that outer crease, outer corner. And then always, you know, go back to that crease brush, go back to any bare blending brush that you have and work over the edge of what you've done. But this is so soft and really pretty. You've also got a peach right here that we haven't tapped into yet, and that's really nice under the brow too, or just on the edge helping you blend. Ultimately, this kind of works out to be a cool grayish look, and I'm always reminded when I work with grays, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like grays on my eyes. And then I'm going to come inward on the inner lid with some of this tone right here. It's like a really soft little bit of gray in it. Just a really smooth look. From a little compact palette, I would say a little goes a long way with it, but there's a good amount of shades that just are not very harsh. And that's why it's kind of pulling me in that beginner-friendly categorization. You could definitely come under the eye as well. Probably going to put a little bit of a shadow stick down there, just in the name of having the best staying power all day, but I'll finish the eye and be right back. Here's that completed eye. So what I did, I took a shadow stick. I haven't gotten big into my Milani shadow sticks, but I need to work with them more. It's called the Gilded Shadow Stick, and this shade is Terra. It feels a lot like Cocoa from Laura Mercier and really behaves very similarly on my eyes, but I smudged a little bit of that on the upper and lower outer lash line area. And then I used my Essence Lash Princess false lash effect on the upper lashes and some e.l.f. lash extender on my lower lashes because that's a tubing mascara and that's not going to smudge. And then we're getting into our number 5 product from Physicians Formula. It is a lip product and these are so good. I love these. This is really everything I would hope for in a lip gloss. I want the pigment, I want the shine, I want a texture that practically feels more treatment oriented on the lips if I can get it. I want enough thickness that I feel like it's clinging in, but not so much thickness that it's annoying. Okay, this is a perfect sweet spot. They make it in 3 shades. I'll try them all on for you here. I know I've talked about these a lot before, but if somebody comes to this video and finds me because of this video, you need the info. So again, they're called Butter Tinted Lip Conditioners. The packaging is interesting. This is a solid plastic, but they make it look like it's a tube that's been kind of squeezed in at different places. And then it is a doe foot applicator, which I appreciate that too. This shade is called Pink Paradise. Full pigment, 1 swipe, okay? It's really the type of product that could be a 1-step lip because it is so full colored. Even this soft, kind of pinky, warm pink hint of coral. The scent, oh, it's like the butter scent, but sweeter somehow. It's almost like a coconut cream pie kind of vibe. Look at that. Full color, feels good, feels like it's actually moisturizing on your lips, not just the sticky shine of a lip gloss. That's probably my 3rd place out of the colors here that they have. Next one is Beach Bronze. So this is gonna give you a little bit of a toasty, kind of bronzy, brownish, caramely toned lip. It's a doe foot applicator, not a buck foot applicator. So it doesn't lead you to over application, which is good with a gloss. Some of these glosses and lip oils have these big, big applicators. You have to be so careful as you put them on because you don't want too much of that product. But look at that shade. I'm obsessed with that kind of color, like really any time of year. I'm thinking this would look great in the summertime with tan bronzy skin, but it's such a fall shade too. That one is Beach Bronze, and then the 3rd one is Brazilian Berry. It's like they call them just tinted. Baby, own it. These are a full colored 1-swipe gloss. I love this berry. It's just a little deeper and more mauve-y than the pink that I first put on. I'm getting more of a dusty rose feel out of this. I feel like it's super wearable for absolutely anyone. Look how finished it makes my entire look. That shine, that even full color, I appreciate that so much. Butter Tinted Lip Conditioners from Physicians Formula, a very worthwhile product. So guys, that wraps up my top 5 from Physicians Formula. I am so happy with the way my whole skin looks. You know, the blush, the highlight, the bronzy glow. That eye is, once again, every time I step into that cooler kind of grayish look, I'm like, yeah, that looks good on the brown eyes. And then those lip glosses cannot be beat. I just wish maybe they would come out with a few new shades. I bet they're gonna come out with a shimmery version at some point. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time. Please request in the comments section if you've got a brand you'd like to see a top 10 of. I always want to choose brands for this that I feel very familiar with. That way you're knowing I'm not just picking some random favorites, but I've tried most of what's available and I'm picking the best from that. And also picking the best as it stands up to the rest of the makeup landscape. Like I was saying earlier, you're not just going to name something as a top 5 from Physicians Formula. If that bronzing stick isn't really hanging with other bronzing sticks on the market, then don't name it as a top 5, you know? Anyway, you get it. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.